Hello and welcome back to the Good 5-Cent Cigar Newscast. My name's Alexa Potamianos. Thank you so much for joining us. This week, a look into the university efforts to create food security. Then, a look into what's happening at URI this week. And as always, stay tuned for your Rhody Sports Corner. Dining Services at URI is working to decrease food insecurity in the campus community. Rhody Outpost is working closely with Dining Services to provide URI students with nutritious foods. I spoke with two campus partners to find out how students can get involved. In efforts to decrease food insecurity on campus, Dining Services is working with Rhody Outpost to ensure students have access to food.
Food insecurity is something that many folks do not necessarily associate with college campuses. We tend to think of them as places with plentiful amounts of food, which is certainly true here at URI. That said, we do know there are large numbers of students at campuses across the country. In fact, the national data says about 30% of students at four-year colleges are food insecure, meaning not only do they not have regular access to food, they don't always have access to optimally nutritious food.
Sweeney shares more on Rhody Outpost.
Rhody Outpost is our campus food and basic needs pantry. What that means is students, any student can access it weekly. Right now we're open we're open Fridays from 3 to 5:30-ish, and students can request both food items and household and personal items. So they can get shampoo, conditioner, toilet bowl cleaner, feminine products, soap, etc., as well as basic non-perishable foods, so tuna, beans, canned soup, ramen noodles, things like that. In addition, we also offer, from our research farm that Dr. Brown operates, we offer produce in the fall, which is the same produce that they offer in the Free Farmers Market on Thursdays.
Esty gives insight on how students can lend a hand by sharing dining dollars.
So we would have them donate a swipe, and we called the campaign Swipe for Hope back in the day. So they would donate a swipe, and then that swipe would go into, I call it our little kitty, where we would then keep them all, and when a student needs a meal or two or 50, Barbara or somebody else in her section would give me a call and let me know, and then I would put it on the student's ID card. And what's great is that somebody's helping out by donating one of these swipes. They don't know who it's going to, so everything's anonymous. And then the student that needs the help, to get a meal at the dining hall, it goes right on their ID card. Nothing changes, nothing is out of sorts. They're not anything. They can go right in there like they had a normal meal plan, which is awesome for these guys. So now that we changed everything to dining dollars, so we have it going on Mondays, and they're called Meaningful Mondays, where on the Grubhub app itself, students can go on and donate 5 dining dollars. And the 5 dining dollars then go into my little kitty, and then I can go ahead and take those and I can move those to whatever students are needing some assistance at the dining halls. They can use it at the dining halls, they can use it at the Ram's Den, because they're dining dollars, they can be used anywhere at the dining retail operations.
Also always happy to have student volunteers who want to help at the Rhody Outpost, or more importantly, do a donation drive or donation collection for us. Our shelves are quite bare. Our client usage has tripled since school started. We were serving about 10 to 12 students a week, and now we're doing between 30 and 35. So I'm calling this month Restocktober, with the hope that different parts of our community can come together and really help us refill our shelves so that we can serve the students who need it, and I don't have to tell them, I'm sorry, we're out of this. So I'm excited to invite any student who wants to be part of that to certainly come and talk with me, and I would be happy to find a place for them in the Outpost.
Alexa Potamianos, Good 5-Cent Cigar News. Here is your week at URI. October is Cybersecurity Month. Information and Technology Services will be hosting virtual webinars over the course of the month to educate students on cybersecurity, to spread awareness, and to stay safe. The Multicultural Student Services Center will have Fiesta del Norte, a mariachi band, play traditional Northern Mexican music on Wednesday to kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. On October 6th, URI's President Mark Parlange will host his second annual Quad Fest. The event will feature the URI Day of Giving tables, a fall student organization fair, the free farmers market, food, and music. On October 13th at 6:30 p.m. in Swan Hall Auditorium, the Student Senate Cultural Committee is hosting a town hall meeting for students to discuss topics in equity, diversity, and inclusion. And now over to Kyle Standing with your Rhody Sports Corner.
Thanks, Alexa. Hello, Rhody Nation. I'm Kyle Standing, and welcome to another edition of your Rhody Sports Corner. Kevin Castaneda has had a breakout season in his third campaign with Rhody men's soccer. The Providence native has nearly doubled his statistical output from last year, helping his team to achieve one of the best starts to a season in Rhody men's soccer history. Our own Nathan Robillard has the story.
I'm here outside the URI soccer complex where, before losing their first game of the season to Dayton on September 24th, the URI men's soccer team got off to their best start to a season since 1995, going 4-0-4 through their first 8 games. A huge part of that success has been junior midfielder Kevin Castaneda, who comes third on the team with 2 goals and 3 assists so far this season. A former Atlantic 10 Player of the Week, the Providence native has played an important role in the Rams midfield so far this season.
He's had a great start to the season for us. He's a very important player for us, hard-working, can play a few different roles for us as well. Obviously he's chipped in with some goals this year, which is nice as well, but I mean he's part of our engine room in midfield there that will compete for every ball and work for full 90 minutes.
Castaneda has been a regular starter for the Rams this season, starting in all 9 games. He's played 70 or more minutes in 6 of those games, something which Elliott says is a direct result of his growth as a player through the last 3 seasons with the Rams.
No, I think he's been very consistent for us this year. You can see that by the minutes he's played and hasn't really come off the field too much. But the other thing that he's sort of added to his game, he's a little bit more disciplined maybe than in years prior. In the past he was prone to picking up the odd yellow card unnecessarily, and this year he's had a lot more discipline in his game to go with his competitiveness.
I think a lot of it was, being focused, turning on that switch and, just doing what I do best, like having love for this game. It's just, it's a great passion that I have, and, I brought the energy, worked hard this summer, and I thought, we have a great team. This is the year we can possibly win an A-10 championship and, go to NCAAs.
So far this season, Castaneda has 7 points on 2 goals and 3 assists, tying him for second on the team. He's also taken 10 shots through the first 9 games, hitting the target 6 times. However, according to Coach Elliott, his abilities on the ball go far beyond what the stat sheet shows.
Well, he's very comfortable on the ball. He's a pass connector. He can turn very quickly with the ball and find open players, great pass through the ball, good vision. I mean, he's pretty small, but if you look at him challenging for balls in the air, he does pretty well. So he's just a great competitor, and really lifts our players around him.
Reporting for the Good 5 Cent Cigar, I'm Nathan Robillard.
Every fall, fantasy football takes over the lives of countless college students across the country. What makes this game so captivating for Rhody students, and what is the key to success? Zach Petrick has the answers.
Fantasy football is a phenomenon all around the country. I got to catch up with a few of our URI community members on what makes fantasy football so intriguing and what they do all season long. How long have you been playing fantasy football?
Oh, probably about 20 some odd years. I think I was probably a freshman here.
Leagues are you in this year?
I'm in 3 leagues this year. I am currently in 3 fantasy leagues.
You told me that you use analytics to figure out who you're playing and figure out who you're drafting. Like, what kind of analytics do you look at?
Sure. I'm actually really lazy, so I pay for Football Outsiders. So he pays a team of researchers to track stuff that doesn't show up in the box scores.
There's this magazine about fantasy football that has draft rankings. I do. I use fantasypros.com to look at advanced stats for players like target share, routes run per snap, and routes run per target.
I think makes it so appealing to just people like me and you.
I think that a lot of fans believe they know the most about their favorite players and teams. And I think fantasy football is kind of your chance to showcase that.
I think the competitiveness of the leagues. I love talking to my friends and like bragging about my team winning.
I think every young football fan grows up wishing that they could control their favorite team because everyone thinks they're so much smarter than the owners and the coaches. So I think fantasy football is like an alternative to owning a team.
We're 4 weeks into the NFL season. Who have been your best players for your team so far?
The players that I was in on early, given that rookie projection stuff, I was kind of happy to see Pierce go off for Houston because I have him stashed away on a couple of teams. Olave, the receiver from New Orleans.
My best player has probably been T. Higgins and Zach Ertz, very consistent. And my worst have definitely been Tom Brady. He finally hit the bench this week.
Tyreek Hill is probably the only good player that I've had so far.
It was really intriguing and interesting to hear our different URI community members' opinions and thoughts on fantasy football this year. For the Good 5 Cent Cigar, I'm Zach Petrick.
Now let's take a look at the other scores around campus. Rhody football scored a big victory in the Governor's Cup, defeating Brown in dominant fashion. Women's soccer continued their conference slide with matches against Richmond and Fordham. And finally, congratulations to Brandon Gillis and Chuck Tregresser, who won Atlantic 10 Golfer of the Week and Rookie of the Week, respectively, to close out the month of September. That's it for this week's Rhody Sports Corner. Back to you, Alexa.
That's all we have for you this week at the 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. As always, make sure to check us out at rhodycigar.com and follow us on Twitter at Rhody Cigar. From Kingston, Rhode Island, I'm Alexa Potamianos. Have a great week, Rhody.